Hello, everybody. It's Marissa again. And yep, it's Thursday, so it's time for a brief Thursday thought. And today we're going to be doing a little bit of a follow-up. So I'm calling this part 2 out of 3. And last week we talked about, or I talked about really, this concept of orthorexia. And this is going to be a bit of a sidebar, but those of you that are maybe new to watching me, I'm well aware that I have kind of a goofy presentation sometimes. I'm just being myself. So please know that I actually do take this topic really seriously. I'm just presenting as myself, and a part of my style is lightening things up. So yeah, it's a serious thing, and sometimes looking at things a little lighter can be helpful. Okay, so that's my own personal disclaimer and intro into me. So last week we talked about orthorexia, how it's a disordered pattern of eating that falls under the guise of health and healthfulness. It's usually based on diets, restriction, bad food groups, good food groups, and just in general, it's very stressful. And a lot of times symptomatically, it's presenting as anxiety with food. Okay, so if you need more information, you can go back and listen to my last blog, and it's a little rambly, but that's okay. So I'll try to be a little bit more concise and straight to the point today. Today I'm going to talk about some questions to get you thinking about whether you may have, some tendencies to be a little restrictive and kind of feel maybe on that spectrum. And then in my next Thursday thought, I will get even more specific, and I will give you some very, very concrete things and ways to work with this. Because again, that's why I'm doing this. Okay? So some questions to just be pondering or thinking about. 1, does a certain type of food or food group, so that would be like, well, really anything, right? Popular ones are like carbs, fat, grains, things like that. You can see where my bias is. Are any of those, do you feel stressed? Do you feel stressed about having to remove a certain food group? Do you feel, I mentioned this last time, that you're either kind of the good girl or boy, but do you feel really good when you're following the guidelines or the rules? And then do you feel kind of bad when you break them or you fall off? Do you maybe even have a physical reaction to a certain type of food group that possibly could have a psychosomatic component? That's a big one as well. Let's see, let me kind of run through my laundry list. I have a cheat sheet I got to look at here. Do you feel good? This is a little bit redundant, but do you feel good or sort of successful if you stick to a plan? So it's, again, it's more about like sticking to a plan than maybe even what your body wants to eat. And I kind of said this again, but do you feel anxious or fearful when you eat a certain type of food? Is there sort of a sense of, even some of us might not want to admit this, but kind of a grandiosity about how you're eating, sort of like, oh, I'm better because I eat this way. Of course, I'm being a little bit dramatic here. The last thing is 2 kind of groups or populations that I think have, and again, this is just my anecdotal opinion, take it or leave it, but I'm basing this not only on myself, but also with the clients and athletes that I've been working with, and the clients and athletes, well, they're not my clients, but athletes, friends, people I have worked with and know. So I think athletes, especially endurance athletes, have a higher propensity towards doing this kind of stuff. Number 1, we generally want to be a little healthier with our eating. We're always sort of, for I think most of us, body size and shape is somewhere in the background of our thinking. Some of us, want to have sort of that cutting edge on performance. So we're going to have a little bit more propensity to kind of try the next greatest diet thing. Not always, but, and then two, but if you, or if we've had diagnosable disordered eating disorder, we just are going to have a greater tendency to still struggle with food. I fully believe we can recover from eating disorder, but unfortunately, if food's kind of our thing, there's just a greater chance that it could show back up. So it's just, again, I'm doing this to provide some information because I believe if we have the information, then we can start to make changes. And at the end of the day, some of you know why I'm laughing, is, I want you all to feel good, and food should be something that's kind of pleasurable. So, okie dokie, I will talk with y'all next Thursday, and I will have some very concrete, very specific things to start to do and work with to get you on the track of feeling great with food and your body. Okay, bye.